What's up guys, Braver here, and today I'm going to be talking about the Yukata, an article of Japanese clothing. We're going to talk about what it is, what it isn't, and the secret history about it, which many Japanese people don't even know.
First off, let me explain what a yukata is, and how it's different than a kimono, because I'm sure many people might not know. In reality, the two terms are often used incorrectly by many non-Japanese people. So much so that the image that pops into your head when you think of a kimono is very likely to be a yukata. This is because on the surface, the two look very similar to each other. The way many people explain what a yukata is that it's just the summer version of a kimono. An authentic kimono has many layers of fabric that need to be worn, making it quite warm, and it's often near impossible to be put on by yourself. And even once it's on, the kimono is often tied very tightly, so it may be uncomfortable if you're not used to it, and can be difficult to walk quickly. Because it's so inconvenient to wear, they are only worn on special occasions, such as weddings, funerals, graduations, and coming-of-age ceremonies. Though it's not uncommon to see old ladies randomly walking around in a kimono. Not something that you'll see every day by all means, but not something that you'll never see either. A yukata, on the other hand, is much lighter, often only a single layer of fabric, which is much easier to put on and walk around in, which is why it's often referred to as a summer kimono. They are most commonly seen these days worn to festivals. If we compare the prices of the two, we can see that a kimono can easily cost a couple $100s, while a yukata is commonly found for less than $100. If we think of a kimono like a suit in the West, then the yukata would be the equivalent of a nice dress shirt. With that distinction out of the way, let's look at the history of the yukata. First, we will look at the kanji of each of them to get some insight. The kanji for kimono could be read as something to be worn, which would make sense considering that it would have been the fashion for that period of time. Though it is important to note that even today a t-shirt could be described using the same kanji, and it would technically not be incorrect. A yukata, on the other hand, has the kanji of a bathing garment, which alludes to its secret history. Its first appearance can be seen around the Heian period, almost 1,000 years ago. Back then, the original use for the yukata was as something that the nobles would wear in their baths to absorb their sweat, making it quick and easy to change into cleaner clothes after the bath. At this time, they did not use water for their baths, but instead they would take a steam bath, similar to a modern-day sauna. It would not be until the Tokugawa shogunate would introduce the system where daimyo would have to spend every other year in the capital that the popularity of using water for bathing would become popular. Since the daimyo would travel for sometimes months to make it to the capital, a thriving system of inns would spring up to house them along their way, with some of the most popular having natural onsen. The daimyo would continue their practice of wearing a yukata while bathing in the hot springs, even wearing them into the water, which would allow the practice to spread among the peasantry, who would try to emulate the nobles. At this time, it was still considered taboo to wear the yukata outside of the inn that one was staying in, similar to how one would attract many strange looks if they were to go to the grocery store wearing just a bathrobe today. Over time, these cultural taboos would begin to loosen as it became more normalized, and now it is perfectly acceptable to wear a yukata outside in your daily life. In modern days, the yukata still holds some of its traditional use. If one were to stay at a hotel in Japan today, there is almost a guarantee that yukata would be provided in the room for use. In addition, many people at a ryokan, a Japanese-style inn, wear it just for walking around, not too dissimilar to Western spas, where people will wear a bathrobe while inside. That was a quick look into the history of the yukata, a cousin to the cultural icon of the kimono. I would like to thank you all for watching, and see you next time.